One interesting story from there is that we went for a demo to one prominent angel investor. We were showing him this product and it was still a prototype. And the bat was a 3D printed bat. And, the game was working well, everything was good. And we handed it over to him and he started playing. He got a couple of good shots and, he was like all thrilled and there was a target ahead of him. In that moment of, achieving the target, he gave it a full blown hit and it went and hit the furniture ahead in front of him. And we were doing it in a small hotel lobby. I mean, then the bat, it was like I said, it's a 3D printed bat. The bat had extensive damage, but anyway, he was so impressed. And with a broken bat, we got our check.
Hello everyone, and that is my guest, Prince Thomas. Prince is the co-founder of MetaShot, a Bangalore-based gaming startup. MetaShot offers a unique and immersive cricket experience through a cutting-edge metaphysical smart bat. Amazing stuff. So, in this conversation, he talks about the intricacies of how MetaShot works, the major challenges faced, why they chose to launch exclusively in Bangalore initially. He offers insights into their marketing, funnel strategies, leveraging social media influencers, and handling both positive and negative feedback. We also explore the future of the Indian gaming industry, pitching to investors. He talks about his unwavering support from his wife and overcoming scepticism from his father in the early days. And finally, we discuss the rise of cricket in America and hear an intriguing story about the origins of his name and much, much more. So please enjoy the show. Thank you.
Hi, Prince. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Neil. Really excited to be on the show.
Awesome stuff. Please tell the listeners what you're building.
I'm the co-founder of MetaShot, and MetaShot is aiming to give a console-like gaming experience to the masses. When I say masses, I mean the price is almost 1/10 the price of a console, but gives a similar sporting experience. We have started with cricket, and we plan to go to other sports soon.
Okay. And what was the inspiration behind it? What was the light bulb moment, and how you came up with the idea?
For us, the journey of MetaShot actually started with this other company called GR8. All three co-founders, which is Ajit, Ranjit, and me. We were also the founders of this company called GR8. And what we did was we were trying to kind of brand the unbranded tennis cricket category. By tennis cricket, I mean gully cricket where people play with tennis balls. And that was an unbranded space in 2018-19. Started to create this unique looking designs. Soon became a bestseller. But the problem is that in 2020, when the COVID pandemic hit, you know how everything got shut, right? So people were really scared of stepping outside, and the demand just nosedived. We were in fact zero revenue for close to 8 to 9 months. Post which, is around the time when we started thinking about, what if we could let people enjoy their favorite sport from the comfort of their living rooms. While doing so, can they play with someone who is in a different part of the world? So that was the basic, need for us to think in that direction. And from there, I think, there were a lot of iterations. We went through a long journey, to be precise, almost 2 years before we could crack a product which, kind of fit the bill of meeting the needs of masses.
How are things going so far? Can you share some stats?
We started selling in September 2023. From the time we have launched the market, from the time we have launched the product, the videos that have gone out subsequently, those videos have kind of garnered close to 400 million views on them. In fact, one of our top videos has now 50 million views standalone, and numerous such videos have gone over 1 million, over 2 million. The very fact that there is a product now which gives you your Nintendo Wii-like experience, but at 1/10 of the price, excites people. And the tech is very, unique. It doesn't require a complex a box or a hardware. All it requires is the smart bat, and it pairs with your mobile phone. And then, you start swinging your bat in your living room. So the first year went well for us. Now we are live on one of India's largest marketplaces, Flipkart. We are bestseller there. We are also Flipkart's choice. So literally all the badges that we could get on the platform, we have got. We soon plan to go live on Amazon and plan to go live in the Middle East.
How would you sum up the journey so far? Then you must be very pleased so far. Is it what you expected when you first launched it?
Yeah, to be honest, we were really, really, we were excited about the product. We spoke to a lot of people. there was a sense that this is something people will like, but you never really know till you launch it, right? I mean that journey was I mean the first 2 months when we did a test pilot, we were sold out in the Bangalore market, and we had
Uh-huh.
opened up only Bangalore.
Yeah.
The reason being, we wanted to keep the hardware close to our headquarters, and if there are any corrections needed, once we were confident, we went live pan India from the beginning. I think by God's grace, from the beginning, we've had a very good demand for the product. People have appreciated something like this, and the very fact that a new concept has come from India, I think that was something which a lot of people really like.
Let's go back to those 2 years then. In terms of what did the early prototypes look like? What did the first version look like?
The first challenge, or the major challenge, Neil, is like, see, there is no reference to this. Like, see, I can go through a lot of reading material. I can probably go through, if there is a reference, it's easier, right? You can always do a variation of what is already there. But for us, the reference was not there, purely because we were trying to do something which didn't require a camera or didn't use the infrared. It purely worked on the sensors and how the sensors kind of found out where you are and identified your shots. So that was a new learning. So there were a lot of times when control the EA Sports 2007 cricket. EA 2007 cricket was very popular,
Yeah, it was.
and we were trying to control that from using this wooden bat and the sensor. When they stand in front of a TV with this kind of device in their hand, the hardware and software kind of nicely mixed with each other, or had a smooth communication. So that was key for us, and I think that journey is what took us nearly 1.5 to 2 years. So Neil, the hardware and the game is built in house.
Okay. Yeah, in terms of the user feedback then in the early days, did that influence the development of the actual product itself?
Absolutely. So like I was saying, the first product was a full length bat, which is 33.5 inches as per ICC size. We realized is, people were not able to freely swing because, the full arc of the bat, it will destroy objects around you, right? And as we did more research, we realized that the real feel of the bat comes from the handle.
Yeah.
From the grip, how, and it should feel exactly like the grip that you get on a real bat. So we made sure we gave that same handle length, same diameter on the grip, and the size of the blade itself we reduced, so that people can swing freely in their apartments. So we wanted everyone to be comfortable in the place that they are playing from, and this really helped. The whole research made us understand that, hey, it cannot be a full blown 33.5 inch bat. It has to be 22 and a half kind of length, and that optimum length has worked well for us. We see a lot of videos where people are just going wild with the bat, and with minimum or with no damage to the environment around them.
That's good. That's good to know that. Yeah. So those 2 years, what advice would you give our listeners then on building a prototype based on your insights and learnings?
I think at every stage of the product, from the idea itself, like the first time we conceived the idea, which was just a theory, we bounced it off a lot of people, and by that I mean not just friends. I mean investors. Like we have some VC connects, so we spoke to them. We tried to tell them what we are trying to do. We spoke to our friends, obviously. We spoke to people who love cricket, and that was the first step. And then from there, like I said, when we made the first version where there was a bat and a sensor, we again took it back to the people just to see if things change when they actually get the product. Just to see at each stage, what is the feedback they are giving. Go back and correct, work on it, and then keep on iterating and doing it very fast. I think time is key, because you are pre-revenue and every money counts in that period. So you really have to iterate fast, iterate fast, give a new version, let them try again, and then keep repeating the cycle. Even for us, if you ask me, even now, there's a dedicated customer support team that speaks to over in a week maybe over hundreds of customers, and we made sure that this never stopped. And we hear them. A lot of the new features on the game, for example, comes from these feedbacks. We recently had something called MetaShot Fan League.
Yeah.
And you won't believe, in the 12-day period, people scored over 10 lakh runs
Oh
in the
wow.
game. And there's one winner, and he scored about 40,000 runs single-handedly. So for him to score 40,000 runs over the 10-day period, he would have played clocked more than 100 to 150 hours
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that that 10-day period.
Go on. But in terms of customer development, what questions are you asking then?
Yeah, so I think obviously the very basic questions, like the idea with this product was never to replicate real cricket. I mean,
Right.
whatever we try, we cannot match those standards. The idea was not to make someone use this product to improve their game, because
Right.
again, that's something we cannot promise. The base hypothesis was that this will be a fun gaming entertainment product. So on those key parameters of, is it fun, is it entertaining, does it give you a sense of playing a interesting concept, those were the key factors we were looking for when we spoke to the customers. We never asked them things like, oh, does it feel like real cover drive, or does
Yeah.
it feel like you improved after playing for 2 days,
Mm.
because that's not our promise. So I think the key thing is, when you go with a certain hypothesis about
Yeah.
what you want, what kind of emotions you want out of your customer, I think that's what you should check in the constant iteration that you do. Is
Mm.
it delivering on those three things that you wished your product could deliver?
Yeah, interesting insight there. How do you deal with the negative feedback then? I played this game, I didn't like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of such feedbacks that we get regularly,
Mm.
and I think there's obviously some mismatch in what they expected from the
Right.
product and what it is delivering.
Mm.
Some of them are genuine, like I mean, by genuine, all of them are genuine, but some of them probably bought it with one of those things which we didn't want the customer to believe. Maybe
Right.
they thought this will help them improve their game, or
Mm.
maybe they thought that this will be almost as real as my outdoor cricket.
Mhm.
So we are very clear that we are not here to replace cricket. We are
Mm.
just you cannot play cricket all the time outside, right? So the time that you are inside, we are letting you enjoy a form of cricket. Again, into those key things, right? Like, is it something which we promised and we are not able to deliver? If that is the case, then we need to work on it, reiterate, come back with a better version of the product. If the feedback is something which we actually never said, and maybe they misconstrued it, then look at the marketing material. What went wrong?
Yeah.
Why did they feel this way? Can we improve our communication? Those are the key things we look out for.
Yeah, that's good. That is. You mentioned marketing.
Hello.
Talk about marketing strategies. I think you mentioned viral videos.
Yes. So from the beginning, no, I think one key theme that emerged for us is the influencer marketing.
Right.
The very fact that nobody had seen something like this, and when it is amplified by someone who has, let's say, 10x reach, the actual benefit that we get, and even the influencer in certain cases, they saw that if their average view count was, let's say, 1 million,
Mm.
with this, their average view count also went up by 2 to 3 million.
Right.
And for us it worked wonders, because the influencers talk to each other, right? And they would come back to us and say, hey, we want to review this product, because it's good content for their users, and obviously it's helping us reach a lot of new people.
Mhm.
So our strategy has been very heavy on influencers,
Yeah.
and we started with mini micro influencers,
Yeah.
and gradually working our way towards the A list.
Okay.
And that also helped us, kind of rely a little less on the traditional Google, Facebook spends,
Mhm.
and the blended cost of acquisition has been good thanks to this approach. Facebook ads, obviously, for us the audience is heavily on Instagram,
Right. Okay.
and we create campaigns at top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. And at the top of the funnel, it is the novelty of the product, the tech aspects, the fact that it lets you play from home and things like that. At the bottom of the funnel, it's more about testimonials from users who have already played
Mhm.
or have purchased the bat. And so basically, at each level of the funnel, there's a different messaging that goes out. There's a different cohort that is built.
Yeah.
So let's say the bottom of the funnel is typically those guys who would have visited the website, almost reached the checkout, but for some reason dropped off. So we ensure, or we give them comfort by saying, hey, hundreds of people have already bought it, they're enjoying the game. Or something like, we are a secure payment, I mean, our payment systems are secure, you can rely on us. We are rated well on Flipkart, Google, and things like that. So it gives them assurance to then complete their transaction. At the top of the funnel, like I said, it's more about getting them interested about the product via the interesting tech, be it via some influencers who have used it, things like that. So what we also do, interestingly, Neil, is that every influencer video that we have created, we take the rights to also push it on Instagram as paid content. So that way, what happens is, the content bank never dries up,
Yeah.
because the influencers are anyways creating a very high quality video.
In terms of the business itself, what is the business model? How are you making money out of this?
Yeah, so there are two ways.
Yeah.
One obviously is the product sale itself.
Yeah.
So we retail in India for 6,000 rupees, and we make some money in terms of the gross margins there.
Mhm.
Secondly, from a long-term perspective, the idea is that there will be obviously people who will be playing the game, and there will be elements in the game that that will remain free throughout the journey. But there'll be downloadable content, there'll be
Mhm.
skins that you can buy, and in-app purchases, right? So all of
Mhm.
that becomes the secondary part of the revenue stream. And the third one, at scale, is obviously the branding opportunities that come
Mhm.
within the stadium, right? So there could be a branded corner for a particular brand, and that can become a revenue source.
Interesting stuff. How big do you want to go with this then?
So, Neil, we are not stopping at cricket, and cricket itself, how big it is, right?
Oh yeah.
It's probably the second biggest sport now in terms
Oh
of
yeah.
fans and followers. And with this itself, with the cricket itself, we plan to capitalize on different aspects, be it geographical, be it a different segment. So that I think is a 2-year journey for us, deep diving into cricket. Parallelly, we are working on other products, other sports. It could be racket sports. It could be, a generic product that could probably let you play many games using a single device. So those are the directions in which we want to get into.
Mhm.
And I think if you ask me size wise, just to give context, there are 30 million male transacting users, of which 70% are cricket fans in India. So
Ah.
almost 21 million transacting male cricket lovers.
Mm.
And from that, even if I say, let's say I get 1 to 2% in the
Mm.
first year, that roughly translates to 2 to 4 lakh people just in India in year one. And
Mm.
I'm talking of a conservative 1% time. So
Mm.
moment it moves, so there is a huge market just in India.
Mm.
And now the Indian diaspora is really strong in North America.
Yeah.
It's really good in UK, and we want to quickly move in that direction.
But obviously the T20 starting in America. I think it's today actually.
Yeah.
Will you see? Are you doing any campaigns around it? And will you see like a more interest from American visitors to your websites?
Absolutely. So I think it's great that cricket is now, the World Cup is in America. I think it opens up a newer geography for the sport
Mm.
itself. There'll be a lot of kids who will go with their parents to watch these matches,
Mm.
and will bring back, memories that will make them interested in the game. It never happened at scale, but if you ask me, I have seen in the last 3 to 4 years, the culture of cricket in America has grown manifold.
Wow.
Even when we were selling GR8 bats, I remember the number of inquiries we got from these markets were crazy. Like,
All
people
right.
wanted to buy 40, 50 bats in one shot, 40, 40, 50 for their teams. And there's a lot of box cricket happening across India. I was just watching the practice match yesterday.
Who's going to win the T20 then?
always, the heart is always behind India. But logically, I think there are some good teams.
Yeah.
Maybe, West Indies always is a surprise package when it
Mhm,
comes to T20. They
mhm.
come with 11 all-rounders, right? So, so I wish it's India this time.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. If you had to pick a cricketer to promote this, who would you pick and why?
So we've evaluated many cricketers, and we've been thinking hard on it. One of them obviously that we've all wanted is Virat Kohli for
Yeah.
sure. He is the cricketing idol now, and resonates well with the Gen Z and even the younger audiences across. Right, his passion for the sport, all of that, kind of gels really well with the brand. But yeah, I think we are taking those mini steps to kind of get some cricketers on board. Maybe not
Mm.
Virat, but hopefully soon.
Okay, well, good luck with that one. Talk about you then. What's your background?
Started my career in advertising.
Okay.
I was with Ogilvy and Mather. With O&M, I was with Creative Land Asia, and I worked on some campaigns for Audi, for Unilever, for Appy Fizz Parley in India.
Mm.
And so my career started in advertising. I moved to the brand side. I became the head of marketing at Bank Bazaar, which is a personal finance startup in India.
Yeah.
And there I was also part of the core management team
Mhm,
before I quit from there to start MetaShot. So
mhm,
my journey over the last 14 years have spanned advertising and product and marketing
mhm.
primarily.
And what was the thoughts of your friends and families when you quit the job at Bank Bazaar and
I remember the first time I told my dad. He spoke to me for 2 hours, counseling me why not to do this. And he said, and then finally I didn't commit anything. And he said, if you ever decide to do this, please let me know in advance. And anyways, I just went ahead because, I knew he would always say no. I went ahead, and then after 6 months when I met him, I took him out for a drink and, broke the news. He was in a state of shock, but went back and then didn't say anything. I
Mhm.
think he's been supportive after. So
Yeah, that's good.
so that was the way it was with my dad. My wife was very supportive. She really liked the concept from the beginning. And when I said that I may do this, obviously she asked a few tough questions. And once she was happy with the answer, she said, "Yeah, let you should do it."
Mm,
And that support from the close circles is always important,
mm,
because there are dark days, when you don't see any light. I mean, things don't go your way.
mm.
And if that happens at your workplace, and then you come back and the house is not in order, it's always a tough thing to manage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And talk about your two co-founders. How did you meet, and what were your first impressions of?
So Ajit and I go long back.
Okay.
We did our MBA together in 2010, and then we went to two different cities. Ajit was in Bangalore, I was in Bombay,
Mm,
and we met really late in 2018. After that,
mhm.
and Ranjit and I worked together at Bank Bazaar. Ranjit was heading digital marketing, and
Okay.
at that point, I was heading brand marketing. What happened is, when the thought of GR8 first occurred to me, the first two people I spoke to was these two folks, and the way they jumped onto it, the way they went behind that concept. And through that journey also, we worked very closely. We knew each other very well.
Mhm,
We understood our strengths. Each one comes with a unique skill set. So
mhm.
while I'm good at certain aspects, Ajit is really good with finance. Ranjit is really good with managing the whole numbers and the operations. So we all complemented each other well. So when the idea of MetaShot again came, the first two people that I spoke to was Ranjit and Ajit. All three of us were excited about it from the beginning,
Mhm,
and each one has put innumerable hours behind it to make it work. So that synergy is very important, and
mm.
I think luckily, because of my experience with them in the past company,
Yeah,
I knew that these were the folks to go with.
yeah, that was some stuff. Talk about gaming then. and specifically like the future of gaming industry in India. What are your thoughts on that then? Because obviously,
So I think the gaming in India is going through a big change now. It's like the whole culture around gaming. Investors are warming up to the whole thing. It's suddenly seen a big shift from maybe 20 after the pandemic. People are there's lot of investment now happening in this space, and in general I think and I'm very new to the industry, so
yeah,
from what I gather is that the expectation an average person spending in the game within India, that number is bound to grow. So that it was very difficult to get money out of Indian gamers. That has been the historical context. But from what I gather now, that is slowly changing, and the ARPU is kind of improving for a lot of games, and the quality of games out of India has again it's gone up dramatically. There are a lot of studios that are now working on AAA quality games right out of India. There's a studio that is working on Cricket 24, which is at par with what Ant Studios does with its game. So there's a lot of interesting content being developed. There's a lot of local content being developed. Like
yeah,
you don't see let's say a setting of Manhattan, right? You
yeah,
see a setting where you are in the chawls of Mumbai, and this plot is around the local goons and a local GTA to just so to say. So there's a lot of such content being developed where the basically the Indianization of the content is happening, and that is a good sign. The way OTT has opened up our minds to these kind of content, I think that is also trickling down in the gaming on the gaming side.
yeah. It sounds very what you're doing is exciting and fun. What excites you most about what you're doing then?
See, I've been a cricket crazy guy from from the time I was a kid. In fact, I was sent to boarding school because of my obsession, and I used to just play cricket all the time in my 10th standard and all. So they decided, my parents decided I should now probably go and study in a boarding school where there is like unlimited restrictions and limited game time, play time. And I was sent to this boarding school in Hyderabad. And I remember those 2 years where I didn't play cricket. I didn't get a chance to play cricket. So for me, I think this has always been in me, the cricket, right? The passion for cricket, the love for cricket. And this is unique, and this is really exciting because I'm doing what I really loved all my life. And the fact that, I'm building something in this space which is, completely new.
Yeah.
So that really excites me, and the journey ahead, I'm sure there'll be a lot of learnings. We'll probably pick up a lot of new things on the way. But the constant iteration, the feedbacks that we get, we have a doctor, a medical practitioner out of Hyderabad, and he plays every day at least 3 hours on MetaShot, and we speak to him constantly, and he tells us that after my strenuous work at the hospital, this is the perfect stress buster for me. And I make sure I take out time. I've never played so much cricket before, and he's like a 30, 35, 40-year old gentleman. And so when we hear such stories, it's really really it makes it all worth the effort.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Last few questions then. Hiring philosophy.
Yeah, I think the first team is very important. The first set of people who are working on the product. So I think we've always looked for that wavelength match. In terms of and to be honest, it's very difficult to gauge that. Just by speaking to someone for one or two times. The way it worked well for us was some of our initial work was project driven, and we worked on a consultation or a project basis. So that gave us enough time to understand the people we were working with.
Yeah.
And we were very sure that, this wavelength works well for us. So we were able to convince them then to come on to the team full time. And, we've had the core team is built of such individuals. And, some of them have worked with us in our previous companies, and we know, what to expect from them and things like that. So So the first set of people, I think, has to be purely, at that working on the same wavelength, having that similar passion for the whole thing. And from there, I think, slowly you start setting up basic culture pieces, and looking for that culture fit within the new set of people.
Any advice for our first time founders?
Yeah, I think there are like a couple of things I would like to tell them. One, the support and ecosystem, right? So it's important to have a strong, backing from your family or your close ones before you set out on this journey. And that's the softer part. I mean, it's easier said than done, but if you don't get that right, there is like it's the journey is not going to be easy. That is number one. Second, sort out your finances. Until your personal finances are in order, you should not set out on this path, because it's always risky, right? There are a lot of variables. So make sure that you have enough in your bank to take care of, let's say, and give yourself a definitive time. Like, I will do this for 18 months or 24 months, and then see where it is leading me to, and have enough money for that period.
Yeah, what's been the best day so far? Yeah, what's been the best day so far?
Yeah, I guess, when we went live on Flipkart, that was a big moment for us, because all this while we were selling on our own website, and, a lot of things were in control. And, this was the first time it was going out on a public platform. We didn't know how people would take it, what kind of reviews we'll get, and things like that. So there are a lot of variabilities there. And luckily for us, it has been a good journey on Flipkart. We've constantly, like I said, we are bestsellers on the platform. We've had good ratings there, and the revenue also has got a big boost once it's gone live on the Flipkart. So that day when it was at 12 p.m. on 17th April. So that we all gathered around and saw the product go live on Flipkart. So that was a big moment for us, all of us actually.
You remember the time and date as well. That's quite impressive. Looking back, would you change anything?
No, I don't think, I think the journey has been good so far. Obviously there are some mistakes that we could have, probably not done. But again, I wouldn't have known that they were mistakes, right, if I hadn't made it, right? So logically, I think we followed all the things that we could do. But yeah, so if you ask me, I think I wouldn't change anything. The journey has been good. Things have been, going well in that sense.
I have to ask your name, Prince. It's quite a unique name.
So the story is that my uncle, he
Yeah.
was a big fan of one show on Doordarshan. This was in
Right.
1980s,
Okay.
and there was a boy named Prince in that,
Okay.
and I think he suggested this to my parents, and and my mother didn't have a lot of choice back then, so she said, okay, fine, whatever the uncle says. So that's how I think it came about. So
Good old uncle.
uh, but
Awesome.
the good thing is, like I used to feel awkward about it, but
Mm.
the good thing is that people don't forget you. Once you introduce yourself as Prince, there's always like a frown, or there's always like acha, and then that remains with you. So
Yeah.
it helps in brand recall, I guess.
Oh yeah, I have to ask about the funding side of things. When you went to your investors pitch or demo, did you actually demo the product as well?
One interesting story from there is that we went for a demo to one prominent angel investor. We were showing him this product, and it was still a prototype. And the bat was a 3D printed bat. And the game was working well, everything was good. And we handed it over to him, and he started playing. He got a couple of good shots, and he was like all thrilled, and there was a target ahead of him. In that moment of achieving the target, he gave it a full blown hit, and it went and hit the furniture ahead in front of him. And we were doing it in a small hotel lobby. I mean, then the bat, it was like I said, it's a 3D printed bat. The bat had extensive damage, and but anyway, he was so impressed, and with a broken bat, we got our check.
Good news. Good news. Got the check at the end. Awesome stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
we got the check.
we got the check. Any advice for our listeners on funding? based on your journey?
Yeah. I think the pitch has to tell a good story. More than the numbers, it's about the story that you weave around the product, the customer need, and things like that. And obviously, the team plays a big role. So having a good base team and having a good story, I think that's what people look for now. In at least in the pre-revenue stage. Once you have revenue, there's a lot of other things to look out for.
Mhm.
But otherwise, it's purely your capacity as a founder to convince them of your story and why they should invest or believe in this story.
Yeah.
So that weaving that thing is very important. Tying it all together with the competition mapping to the demand, TAM size, everything. All of that should tie back nicely from the story that you're working on.
Awesome. So, last question for people who want more information on MetaShot. What must they do?
MetaShot, I think the website is www.metashot.in. There's a lot of like we've tried to explain the concept on the website itself. But otherwise, also if you find out or if you search on YouTube, you'll see a lot of videos that explains the way MetaShot works, and various aspects of it. In terms of people listeners who are outside India. Currently, we are shipping only in India, and from June or first week of July, you can get it across the globe through our partner who is in Dubai. That will start from June, July. So we get a lot of queries from UK, US,
Yeah.
Australia, and we've not shipped yet because our focus is India for now. But in the next couple of months, this will go across the globe.
Exciting times. Prince, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks a lot, Neil. Thank you for having me, and wishing you a great day ahead.